The HP Outdoors Waterfowl podcast is powered by Cornerstone Gundog Academy. CGA is the world's most comprehensive online gun dog training resource. They've got over 160 instructional videos that includes everything you need to take your 7-week-old puppy to a finished gun dog. Visit cornerstonegundogacademy.com to sign up for the free preview module and begin your training journey today. Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy, the most advanced gun dog training resource on the web. You are listening to the HP Outdoors Waterfowl podcast. Out in the field, how you've prepared determines how you'll perform. With balanced fat and protein to support peak condition, Eukanuba Premium Performance Dog Food enhances strength, energy, and endurance. So when the pavement ends and the truck doors swing open, you and your dogs are ready for anything. Strong, focused, ready for anything? That's a Eukanuba dog. Since 1898, Old Town has been building the most advanced, quality watercraft products to give you the very best experience on the water. Whether you're hunting, fishing, or enjoying a relaxing paddle on the lake, there's a boat for every type of adventurer. If you haven't seen it, check out their newest offering, the new Grab-and-Go watercraft designed to function as your boat, blind, and retriever. The easy-to-conceal, 11-foot 9-inch, 56-pound Solo Sportsman is the ideal craft for those in search of a stable, lightweight craft that's easy to paddle and even easier to transport or stash. Designed with the hunter and angler in mind, the Solo Sportsman is equipped with thoughtful shell, tackle, and tool storage, a comfortable and adjustable seat and foot braces, an accessory track, and rod holders. Check it out at oldtowncanoe.com/sportsman. Original design, select grade components, superior sound, and unparalleled service. 737 take exceptional pride in producing the finest quality, best built premium calls on the market today. They're made right here in America, and they're offered only direct to consumers through their website. Shipping in the U.S. is always free, and international orders are also accepted online. A 20-day money-back guarantee and lifetime warranty accompanies every call purchased. 737 Duck Calls. Lead the flock. Soundgear is offering a 35% discount to the HP Outdoors listeners for their instant fit industrial and shooter products. You can head over to soundgearhearing.com and use the promo code HPO35 to claim your discount today. Lucky Duck, about the only creature they can't deceive is you. Lucky Duck is more than a brand, it's a lifestyle built around the subtle art of critter deception. So while you're focused on the business end of your shotgun or rifle, know that they're completely focused on what matters most, you. So whether you're in a duck blind, dove field, on a predator stand, or chasing turkeys, they're confident that their products will help you succeed. Check out their full lineup at luckyduck.com and keep up with their latest news by following them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
All right, and tonight we have a friend of the show back on, Mr. Bret Ayers from Lucky Duck. How are you doing, sir?
I'm great, Dan. Thanks for having me again. Great always to catch up with you guys.
Yes, sir. And I don't know what the deal, the theme lately has been. A lot of golf related stuff. We had Dustin Jones on, and we talked about how he was a collegiate golfer and how he just put a putting green out behind his house. So he has a new kid. He has a new little one, and he props him up and goes out back and putts. So
yep,
you have a little different role.
I've been getting those same Snapchats. Same Snapchat. He sent me some photos of that thing and, the progress of it. And I talked to Dustin quite a bit. And, we talk golf probably more than we talk anything. And, and I was kind of jealous when he put that in. I was like, man, I'd love to have that in my backyard.
Well, he sent me a picture and I'm like, wait, that's behind your house? Like, are you, I don't think he goes small with anything though, right?
No, he goes all in 100%.
Yeah. And having, a background in engineering, I'm sure he had no trouble putting that in. So,
yep.
It just makes me laugh because he has a kid over on the couch sitting there, and he's just putting away and dad life, right?
Yep. Yeah, he sent another video or snap last night. He was driving. I think he was on the golf course, and his club strapped on, but he had his kid strapped in
the carrier.
The carrier. Yeah. Yep. So.
I saw that as well. I'm like, how's he swinging with that? Is he taking them off every time or what? Who knows? Yeah. So you're a coach. Do you have a background in golf?
Yeah. So I started playing golf when really, I guess when I took a serious interest in it was in my 8th grade year in middle school, I guess, or junior high. A lot of my neighbor friends and stuff were a year older than me, so when they got into high school, they joined the high school team. So that summer, I guess, would be my 8th grade summer, their freshman summer. Uh, that's what they did. So I started taking it up because that's what my buddies did, and just really football wasn't my thing. Especially with being a fall sport. And so, yeah, I've been playing since I was 14. I went to camps and all kinds of fun stuff growing up. I did have some college opportunities, but I declined to go to college to play golf. I guess I just had the mentality I wanted to go. I went to a technical school, and I wanted to get in for a couple years straight through and get out and, get in the workforce and go. So that, looking back, I kind of wish I would have went just for the experience. But, then I played quite a bit after I first got married, and the wife and I were actually thinking about moving to down south to play on a mini tour of some sort. And then, just hunting really became big again. I always hunted, obviously, but, it became my main focus, so to speak. Got into the whole goose calling thing, and kind of golf went to the wayside. And I'm playing this Saturday in a scramble, and this will be like the 7th time I've played this year. So I don't play as much as I used to, but so yeah, I've been coaching girls high school golf. This is my 8th season, and I really enjoy it. It gets me out on the course. I get around, some folks that I see on the course that I always used to see before, and helps me be able to, teach some younger folks something they could do for the rest of their lives. So
Yeah, and it's fun and exciting if you're decent, or you can throw your stuff into a pond, whatever.
Or you could throw it. Yep. Or a lot of my buddies, they just like to drink beer.
So do you get permission on any local golf courses? Is the next question.
No.
For hunting? No, they don't let you out there.
Nope. The one course, I got 3 courses that are close to me. One course, they do have a goose problem, but they have the state pretty much takes care of that for them, but it's in city limits, so that's why the state takes care of it. And the other one, honestly, there's geese all around it, but I don't never really seen a whole lot of geese on the course itself, which is weird.
Yeah.
But it's really close to a wastewater treatment, or not a wastewater treatment plant, but a landfill. And there's a big pond by this landfill, and they're always in there, and across the streets, I always see them, and I've got some permission for that stuff in the past, but yeah, it's just like I said, just the main one where most of them are at, it's in the city, and we can't hunt them. So,
see, I dabbled in golf, but I didn't until after college, and I was working, and I'm kind of the person that, like, if I'm going to go in on something, I'm going to go full force and try it and try and become proficient in it. So, everything through baseball, I always heard, if you go golfing, it's going to mess up your swing, blah, 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 which does it? I don't know. But so right. It kind of scared me away from it. And I got fairly decent. Like, my drive, I'm not going to say that I can hit it straight every time, but my iron game is pretty legit. But besides that, I'm not looking to, move to go on any mini tours or like anything like right. that. But it was fun for a while. But I ended up, my dad put a little, I guess just a hole in his yard, and he chips back and forth. So I was like, just take my clubs and mess around with them. So he has my clubs now, and I'll go to Top Golf every once in a while. But that's about the extent that I hit the ball anymore.
Yeah, Top Golf's a blast.
Yeah, it's fun.
We do. My family loves it, and I've got some girls, 3 girls. I got 3 girls and a boy, and my boy likes to golf, but the other girls they never took interest in golf, but they love Top Golf. I mean, you can go there with the family and not be very good and still score points, and if you're competitive, try that. Like, my kids are always trying to beat each other, so it's a good time, real good time.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And they're actually back open now with all the Corona stuff. And, speaking of that, I guess we can start there and just see, how's Lucky Duck doing with everything going on. And, I assume some of the shows that usually people go to aren't happening, or
Yeah,
coming
most of
into
the
the next year probably won't. So
yeah, it's definitely changed. Obviously the summer, you know, all the some of the big box stores and some of the other stores have their big sales and parking lot, where they get all the vendors in and do all the stuff and calling contests and this, that, and the other. And obviously most of that has been canceled. So that is, I wouldn't say it's hurt, but it's always nice to be in front of a customer in those types of shows, and to answer questions and doing things like that. But I tell you what, our sales they're I mean, we're doing really, really good right now. So it's just, like we talked kind of beforehand, and I've talked to many people, like we are talking about, ATVs and stuff like that. People just can't keep things in stock. Folks are spending money, and we're seeing that same thing in the hunting industry, and it's been really good. Even though we're not being able to get in front of them, our customer service guys maybe be a little more busy answering questions if folks aren't for sure about things. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely taken its toll because like I said, we usually go to Shields and Cabela's and Rogers and Max and Presley's and all those different stores that have those big store festivals or sales, and it's just everybody's pretty much shut them down.
just nothing happening. Yeah, before we started recording, you talked about on the way home from golf, and a guy went in to buy a Kawasaki, and there's two on the floor, and that's all they have. And I had the similar situation. I went and did some video work for a friend of mine. They own a place here with a bunch of Kubota stuff, and since our county fair got canceled, they're like, well, let's put on a car show, and usually the vendors that go to the fair, they can come here and set up and the whole deal. So they had, I don't know, probably 300 cars, something like that, and it turned out really nice, and a ton of people showed up. And I was like, yeah, you make sure all your stuff's out. And he's like, yeah, pretty much all of our stuff is out. And they have like 6 tractors left. There's there's nothing, maybe a couple UTVs, and it's just like, he goes, we can't get anything. There's nothing to be had. And so,
Yep.
And it's
Yep.
funny because you're a good ways away, still in Ohio, but the far side of Ohio, and seeing that it's kind of countrywide is just crazy.
Yep. Yeah, like I mentioned, Ricky Hart, our sales manager, he lives up, in the heart of where they make campers, and he made comments to me several times, and even when I've gone up there to see him, and just there's campers just going all over the place, So I guess that's the positive thing. I shouldn't say really good thing. The positive thing out of this whole virus situation, people are getting outside and doing things that they probably would have never have done if this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we look at the big picture of this, at least, more folks are getting involved in the outdoors and and taking their families to different places.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot more family time, and it's so weird. Like, and your kids are back to school. What kind of schedule are your kids on? Are they back full time?
They went back full time. Yeah. So they started, yesterday was their first day, and everything's as is. The biggest thing is they got to take their temperature, and they have to wear mask, like traveling, in the hallways and whatnot. And then I think once they're at their desk, they can take it off. But if they get within close quarters, they gotta, they have to have a mask.
Yeah.
And that's the same way with me coaching golf. I got a gaiter that I wear, and if I'm within 6 feet of, one of the players, I have to have a mask on. And I have checklists that I have to ask them every single day, if they got a temperature, shortness of breath, and, all that stuff. So just making sure that, if somebody does end up with it, we can trace it. I mean, it's for the safety of everybody.
Yeah.
So
do you know anyone that has had it?
I have, yes. And I know people that have had it that didn't realize that they had it until they got tested. And then honestly, and I didn't really know the guy, but our county, the very first fatality that we had, he was a neighbor of mine. So, but yeah, it's just it was right when things were getting going, and that's it's just for some guys, some people say it's miserable, and some folks just don't, really even realize that they have it.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy.
So, yeah.
And it just seems like there's, lasting effects on some people too. And I know my father-in-law's best friend, and his wife, so they're probably in their 60s, just acquired it. So, and my father-in-law, he was around them. They were outside, definitely like 15 feet apart, because my father-in-law is like crazy about germs to start, so he's a freak about this. Really, he's staying away. He's like, I wasn't close to him, but we're still making him quarantine. So
Yep.
it's like,
Yep.
it's like stay in your house, and we'll figure out if you got it in a few days. I think, but
Yep.
yeah, it's
Yep.
kind of nuts. Our kids they're going back full time, but PA just changed it to they have to wear a mask all the time. I think unless they're eating. So we were on the same schedule as you guys. We can, during I think restroom breaks and walking in the halls, stuff like that, you had to wear it, and then they just changed it to full time. So they start on Wednesday is their first day. So my twins are in first grade.
Nice.
My
awesome.
son is still in pre-K. So
pre-K.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But
yeah,
so it should be interesting, and they say on a day's notice, which is crazy. A day's notice, be ready to go, partially virtual, and I'm like, I just don't understand how people can do it, when both parents work, and it's like how, like even now, so my kids, we are at the, like right at the line between two grade schools. So if my kids ride the bus, they're on the bus over an hour, and they're 6 years old, right? So they'll be 7 in November. But I'm like, that's awful. So like every chance I get, I'm driving them to and from school, picking them up. But now their pickup is before the buses fill out, or before they file out to the buses. So it's like 2:20. You have to be there to pick up your kid if you're picking them up. And I'm like, all right, like thankfully I have an awesome boss and a great new workplace where I can, work with that a little bit. But I'm just like, man, that's people with a legit 9 to 5. It's like, how do you do that?
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Yep. It's our kids, obviously they got sent home last year, and I'm fortunate. I work remotely anyhow, but and summers are always the hardest, just because the kids, they want to do things, they want to be taken places, and blah 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 blah. So yeah, I mean, it's not easy with them being home, working from home anyways, especially the younger that they are. Obviously the older that they are when they're driving, like I said, my oldest just graduated from high school, so she's now working in the workforce, she wants to be a firefighter paramedic, so she's kind of waiting to start testing in some cities and trying to get in the fire academy, which has been closed. And so she's working at a nursing home. And then I've got a junior in high school, and then my son's in 8th grade, then my youngest daughter's in 6th grade. So they're getting to the point where they're not as reliable, as they rely on the parents as much, but they're still, there's still the bickering, the arguing, and I've worked down here in my basement, and I hear them, and sometimes I'm on the phone and somebody will go, "Hey, what's that?" And I'm like, well, hold on a second, and go upstairs and say, "Hey guys, Dad's on a business call right now."
Yep.
So, but yeah, it's definitely challenging. It's just weird times,
I've tried that too. I put a movie on, do not leave this room until I come up. And next thing you know, you hear crying like 7 minutes later. I'm like, are you kidding me? He punched me. I'm like, oh my gosh. So, but yeah, and I mean, to go further down that road, we got a county north of us, one of their schools, K through 5, is going back full time, and then 6 through 12 is going partially virtual.
Oh, really?
So I'm like, what if you have, one kid in 8th grade and one kid in 5th grade, then one kid's going to school twice a week and the other kid's going full time? Like, what? Right. I mean, just the child care. I don't know.
it's weird. There's been so many inconsistencies, and obviously I'm just like everybody else, just looking at this as a big picture. There's just been so many inconsistencies of what we're supposed to do, what we're not supposed to do, and it's just, I don't know. It's been definitely some strange, trying times for sure.
No doubt. So, well, that was a few minutes of stuff people probably talk about on a daily basis anyways.
On a daily basis, yeah. I do.
I feel like we need to get it off our chest every once in a while, right?
That's right.
So
it's especially, I mean, we chat from time to time, either Snapchat or text, but it's not like we talk all the time, right? So just catching up.
Yeah, that's good. So, first question: does Ohio have an early teal season?
We do.
You do.
It's my favorite time.
When's that come in?
The 5th. Yep, the 5th. So a week from Saturday.
So you're gonna be starting up pretty soon. Our early goose, and then you have early goose too, right?
Yep, that starts up the same time. So our dove opens up. Is it Tuesday? Tuesday the 1st.
Yep.
And then the 5th, that Saturday, we got a 15-day teal season, and we only have like a 9-day early goose. So what Ohio did is they took off some of the early season, and they gave us some February season.
Nice.
So, and they do surveys from time to time, and you can get on the Ohio Division of Wildlife's website and fill out a survey, and then they kind of just take off that information of what the hunter's need is, and look at the data, whatever, and set the dates from there. But yeah, a couple of years ago, that's what everybody wanted, was take, one of the questions was, would you rather have, the full, amount, 15 days and September, or would you like to take some of those days and add it into February? And I guess the majority ruled on that one. So
Ohio actually listens to the people spending all the money.
Sometimes, yes. Yep.
that's kind of nice. No, yeah. That's that would be nice. And we, our early goose starts September 1st, and they did make some changes around my area. That used to be 1 goose went up to 5.
Yep,
so that should be pretty crazy, and that area is well known for bands. So I'm sure that I actually haven't scouted that area at all, just because I know that it's going to be packed. Everyone that used to go to the reserve and all that stuff will be just piling in local fields here, and it's not a huge area, so I'm sure it'll get hammered. But I think I would have went with the taking away days in September, because you get a couple good hunts, and then the local birds either leave or they seem to know a lot better than migrators. So I'd rather be hunting the late season.
Yep. Yeah. I guess that's, I used to be a big early season guy, and for some of that reason was the bands. I hunt, not anymore, but where I hunt, they used to band a lot of Canadas, but they don't band hardly any anymore. Actually, they band more ducks from time to time than they do geese. But it just, I got tired of fighting mosquitoes and all that fun stuff, and the carcasses starting to rot, over from it because it's 80, 90 degrees out or whatever, and you know what I mean. So me personally, if I go on one early goose season hunt, I'm happy. That's enough. And sometimes I don't even go. I would much rather go to the lake and teal hunt every single day.
Yeah. So I love hunting. Do you guys get some good numbers over that way?
We just, if you catch it right.
Yeah.
We got some mud flats and stuff that they go to, but there's days I'll go out and I'll shoot 6 teal, and there's days I'll go out and I won't see but 2 teal.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it's kind of how our whole season is. It's not like we're not a huge flyway. We're just in a push zone, and they're here and they're gone. So, but my son, he loves it. He loves teal hunting. I actually have a golf match opening morning which I've never. We usually don't have Saturdays with golf matches, and we happen to have one. We picked up a new team, and so we got a golf match on Saturday morning. So my son's asking, "Hey, can we go teal hunting in the afternoon?" So, but it's fun. I mean, it's just I love shooting those little guys, and I'd just much rather go for an hour or two in the morning and go back home and do what I need to do, and then shooting Canadas. I'd rather shoot Canadas when there's snow on the ground.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd like to be dressed the same all day instead of waking up and it's cold and you get, there's dew on the ground, so you have soaked pants and then you're,
Yep.
laying in your layout blind, and then before you know it, you're sweating because it's 90, like you said, and it's just like, man, come on. And then, someone shoots the roost because they've been watching the geese and feeding them bread all summer, and then they go the other opposite way of where they've been the last, 4 days when you're scouting them. So it's like, you gotta.
Yep.
It's just very early season is the most frustrating out of it all. So.
Oh, yeah. When you find a big feed and you're like, man, this is it, and all of a sudden they just come in one wave and it's over. It's like, oh,
yep.
Okay. And if they do it, you shoot a few or whatever, and if they don't do it, then your hunt's over with.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it's just I don't know. I mean, like I said, I enjoy it. I just would much rather shoot them later in the season.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Personally.
That's I'm with you there, no doubt about it. But
yes, sir.
We'll try them here next Tuesday and see what we get into. We got a couple fields locked down, and I guess it's time to go.
See some photos.
Yeah, hey,
get that Sony going.
Yeah, you still a Canon guy?
I still am. Yep.
You gonna go to the R?
That's the plan. I about made the switch to Sony. I just have always shot Canon my whole life, and I don't know. Especially shooting dogs and some wild birds in flight and things like that. I've played with a Sony before, and just the autofocus is super fast.
Mm-hmm.
And so I about made the switch. And I thought, no, I'm just going to wait. And then I heard about the R5 or the R6, and so definitely will probably be getting. Probably the R6 is what I'm leaning towards, because I think the R5, obviously it's more money, but it's more. I think it's more towards a video guy than a picture guy. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
It's so expensive to switch over, especially switch over to Sony. Just the glasses.
Oh, yeah. I had a long conversation with Nick Sherrod about that. Because that's what he did. He was a Canon guy, then he went to Sony, but he kept his Canon glass, and he just put that adapter on, and he says you still get good photos. Obviously, he takes killer photos, but he just said it's a little more finicky and a little more tricky having a Canon glass with a Sony body.
Yeah, and I've heard bad reviews, and he does some video too, and that just the autofocus on it and the eye autofocus, it'll leave you wanting to purchase the actual Sony glass.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah. Even we looked into some of the Tamron stuff, and even the Tamron with the Sony E mount just doesn't do the autofocus real well. So.
Right. Yeah, that's what.
I'd rather save $2,000 on a 70 to 200, and then it's like, oh, you start looking at reviews and you focus when something starts running, and then it just stays focused there as it's running towards you, and you're like, that's not good.
So, right. Yep. So. Yep. And when I first bought my it was a 7D Mark II, I think, was after I'd started with like a 70D, I think's what it was, and then I went to a 7D Mark II, and then I went to the 5D Mark IV. But yeah, I was in the same boat. I ended up buying two Tamron glass just because I could buy, a 70 to 200, and I bought a 24 to 70 for the same price for those two lenses as it was like for 170 to 200 Canon.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I just recently, I still have this 24-70 Tamron, but last year before the season, I purchased a Canon 70 to 200 the Mark III, and there's a difference. There's a big difference.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking. I still have my Canon 6D. I'm not sure why, but I have a. I got the. I mean, there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 focus points on it, I think.
Yep.
And it's where Sony has the entire screen, like. But yeah, and I have the Tamron 70 to 200, the Nifty 50, and I think the 15 to 30, which takes really nice pictures, but I don't even use it really. I should sell it. Anyone looking for a Canon setup, shoot me a message.
Absolutely.
I'll make you a deal.
Yeah, my go-tos that I shoot, 95% of my photos is either a 16 to 35 or a 70 to 200. So, but just for my style of, photography, but, I'm sure I will invest in something a little different. I've been looking, I used to shoot a lot of, how I got started in it, I used to shoot a lot of like birds in flight stuff. And I just, having a 100 to 400 and, I've got to actually sitting over here in a case. A buddy of mine doesn't even have a camera. He's got a 500 prime Canon, and I don't.
What?
He hasn't. I have no idea. He one day our daughters played soccer together. And I was taking some photos with that 70 to 200. He's like, "Hey, I got this big lens at home. It's a Canon that, that might shoot some better, get some, better photos from a distance." I'm like, okay. And so he brings this big case, and here's a 500 prime, and he's like, "Here, why don't you just take pictures with this?" It was like almost too much. I had to go on the opposite side of the field where the kids were at, to take photos.
Jeez.
So anytime they came near me, it was like, all right, that's where I needed two bodies, to shoot like a 70 to 200. But yeah, so
what's that run? Like 12 grand? Those get pretty pricey up there.
Yeah. And for a guy that doesn't even take pictures. Like I said, I'm not for sure how he even ended up with it. So just out of the blue one day, he's like, "Hey, I got this big lens at home. You interested in using it?"
Yep.
So
yep.
I'm going to have to, it's still sitting over here. I'm going to have to ask him what I could possibly,
finance it.
Yeah. If we can make a deal somehow. But the only downfall of that is just the weight. It's just heavy, so where 70 to 200, you can pretty much handheld, but this 500, I got to put it on a bipod, and it's just too heavy.
Yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot.
It's a lot. Yep, it's a lot.
Man, so let's get into the goods. What's Lucky Duck got? I've been seeing online a couple of things coming out or are out, and I guess go ahead and I start with the Agitator if you want. That looks super cool.
Yeah. So we came out with the it's called the Agitator HDI. It's a water pump style decoy. It's a duck butt. It's got a water pump in it that squirts water onto the tail, and the decoy moves around, and it gives off a lot of water splash. The decoy kind of looks like the duck scooting around. A duck, when he gets tipped up, he's kind of scooting around. So that's something we've been working on the last several years. Finally released it this year. It's a lithium ion battery. It's got 3 timer settings. So if you want to change things up in in your decoy spread, if you got several of them, you can get them in different timer settings. So it just gives some more realism to your spread. And it's also remote capable. So, you can put a remote on it. And if you want to, want to turn them off at a certain time, you just like anything, turn them off. So
you just step on a cat.
Yeah. So Timber and my cat's having a little fight here in the basement. Timber must have got a little aggressive with her. So
that's funny. Well, that is one of the most realistic looking splashers, if you want to call it that. It looks really, really nice, and it's not spraying a ton of water out. It keeps it kind of low, and it hits that butt and moves it around almost like feet coming up and splashing a little bit.
Yep. And what's cool about it, it's got a removable module, so you can remove the whole module itself, and it's got a screw cap to it. You remove the screw cap to access the battery and the receiver and all that fun stuff. And then also the tube is removable. So, for storage and stuff, you can take that tube off and, store it in the decoy bag or however you want to do it. And then, like I said, pretty simple on and off switch. It's recessed up above the water line. It is a waterproof switch, but, it's a little simple on and off switch. And yeah, it's been, we tested it last year and then came out with it this year, and it's been going over real well. So
have you guys seen a big increase, with the HDIs? Do you see a a big variation in people buying more of the waterproof stuff than some of the earlier models?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely becoming more, people are, I guess, investing a little bit more into it, but you still get some guys that, obviously, there's a little bit of a price difference for, lithium ion batteries alone they're expensive.
Right.
So, compared to a lead acid battery. And so that eats up most of the cost. But you see that, but you still get plenty of guys that buy, the old style, 6 volt, like I said, lead, the lead battery. But it's definitely, I think it's coming on. You get a longer life out of a lithium ion, and it goes until it dies. And once it stops, it just stops, right? It's not like on a lead acid where, that runs, and as the juice starts getting low, it starts slowing down.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lithium will keep that full power until it's dead, and then it just stops. So, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely we're seeing a trend in it. So, but it's been good. I think it's lithiums are becoming more and more popular.
Yeah, for sure.
Everything. So,
I know there's more, I guess you can call it mining for lithium in the States as well, at least on the East Coast. Out in the salt flats and stuff like that, it's been kind of bigger, but they're testing some spots out here. I know that just from being in my line of work. But yeah,
yep.
It's when they start checking out here under where old lakes used to be and stuff like that, that it's worth mining, and like you said, that's right, where the cost comes in. So, and you got the flicker tail. Go ahead and talk about that one.
Yeah, so the flicker tail it's a subtle motion. There's a lot of times, spinners, guys start working spinner, especially later in the year. If you got stale birds or whatever, they've seen a spinner from Canada all the way to Arkansas, and even though they're still effective, but you got to be a little more creative, so to speak, sometimes with them. And we kind of hit on that the last podcast. Sticking them in the corn or having a "now you see me, now you don't" type of thing. Just different, turn it on, turn it off. So we came up with the flicker tail, which again, it's a water motion duck butt that has a tail that flicks back and forth, and it's timed to where it looks like a duck shaking its butt. So it's it's dipping and shaking his butt. It just gives that a little extra confidence as they're coming in. It's just a subtle. It's not something you're going to see from a distance. Something that's then when ducks are working in tight. It just gives them that extra little confidence that, hey, this duck's, he's shaking his rump, so to speak, and just gives them that extra little confidence to finish within shooting range.
Shake your tail feather. Yep.
Shake your tail feather. That's right. So,
get it going. And that's what kind of ripple does that put out?
There's no ripple on that. There's no quiver or anything to it, just because of the design. But it's so it's just basically just a flashing motion. So the tail's white with a black outline, and it's got a real fast motion to it. So it just gives that motion of, looks like the tail's flickering. So
nice. I like it. Yeah. And people, they complain, after the few weeks of duck season, put the spinners away is what a lot of people believe in. So, that's just something else to add and have out in your spread. I like that a lot. Now, One thing that, and I don't think we talked about this last time, but um, you guys did come out with the high vis silos,
Yep,
the all black. So,
yep,
um,
yep, yep.
which is super cool. Hunting the eastern shore, you see a lot of that down there still. Like through the years, some guys have never gotten away from that, and it seems like it's starting to trend back. But a few questions I saw on our group and a few other groups were, how are a lot of people running full spreads of those, or are they mixing them in? And um, is there any good formula to mixing them together?
Right. I I've done both. I've done to where I've hunted a full spread of black and whites, and I've done it from September all the way into February. And then I've also, done, a combo of a realistic printed decoy versus, the flocked black and white. So, and never really saw a difference. The biggest thing is, especially on migrators, the whole tradition in Southern Illinois, right, is vision. So you throw out tons and tons of decoys, and black obviously sticks out.
Hmm.
So, that's the whole thing, with it. Just nobody had done it, so to speak, on the consumer side of things. So, um, just something I've used in the past as well, and just like I said, but most people just made it themselves, either cut silhouettes out of thin plywood or whatever. But so yeah, we have fully flocked. The white's not flocked, but the black's completely flocked, and obviously that just helps absorb the sheen, so there's no shine to the plastic or the corrugation or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, I remember when we first were testing them, first got our first ones in, we got on top of I was in Wisconsin at the Lucky Duck office, and we set them way out in the field, down this little power line row, whatever, and they just stuck out compared to a Canada. So, it's really big. If you want to be seen, obviously that's that's the biggest thing with them, is drawing attention, sticking out. But yeah, we've shot them at 15 yards on a full spread of black and whites. So, I know some guys like to separate them a little bit. Just kind of like it's just like guys hunting with full bodies and silhouettes. They use silhouettes as fillers, and but when it comes to the kill hole, they try to be as realistic as possible. Um, so just different techniques, especially across the country. I'm gonna not say what works for me doesn't work, in Oklahoma, or maybe doesn't work for on the East Coast. But um, yeah, like I said, shot him at close on a full um, black and white spread. So it's a
Yeah,
it's a cool product.
it's just so nice using silhouettes.
It is.
Like
You know,
not just to
you know
haul
the
them out, easy setup.
the funny thing about silhouettes is it's just like a lot of things. It's a trend, right?
Hmm.
So when I first started hunting, well, even shells, that was the big thing, right? Everybody had shells. Then Bigfoots came along, and well, then everybody was talking. Oh, you can't kill them over shells. You can only kill them over big feet,
Yeah,
because that
a
was the only
trailer
full
full,
body at the
a
time.
trailer
Trailer
full.
full, right?
Yep.
Well, then silhouettes came out, or I mean, they've been out forever, but they started being in the consumer market, so to speak. And um, it was like, oh no, these are the ticket. Well, then it went back to, no, you can only kill them over full bodies. You can't kill them over silhouettes. And now it seems like the full body trend is taking its toll, and guys are pushing the whole silhouette thing. It's just the ease of them. But heck, I've been hunting over silhouettes for 20 some years. So, it's a lot easier to handle, and, take up less space. You can put probably, I don't know, how many dozen in the back of a pickup truck with your ground blinds and all your other gear.
A
And
lot, a lot of
yeah,
dozens.
a lot of dozens. That's exactly right.
um, Let me ask you from a personal standpoint, do you have more confidence in the flocked decoy in the flocked silhouette?
Um, yeah, I mean, the flocking itself, I mean, even if you look at just a flocked head, it just pops.
Hmm.
Really, it just really pops. And that's let it be, is that a human instinct to go, man, that really pops and looks good, versus a goose going, well, I don't really care, it looks like a buddy, let's go, you know what I mean, type of thing. But the flocking just takes away any shine, and that's the most important thing. Geese do have a little bit of a sheen to them, that reflects off their feathers, but you just have a stick a piece of card or a piece of plastic out there, and it's going to shine like crazy. So,
Right.
but,
Yeah. And no matter, if people say there's no shine off these decoys, like when the sun first comes up and it's hitting those, there's a little bit of shine. So,
right.
and it seems like it's a little more than what a regular goose would put off. So I think, I don't know. I think that's a good call on your guys' end. I like that a lot. And I don't know. I like simple, and just the black and white has always, stuck out in my mind. I just like the look of those.
Yep.
And I can't imagine those in snow. I bet you could pull birds from a long ways.
Yeah, they like I said, just get away from the spread, just compare, and they just pop. So that's why guys, and that's why they're popular in Southern Illinois, because when the migration was big going down through there, guys would use black and whites to draw them.
Mm-hmm.
So but yeah, it's definitely I guess kind of a hidden tool to use, that a lot of people don't have.
Yep.
So
no doubt about it. And geese, especially early season, as finicky as they are, and that just helps. Yep. And if you're running traffic, that's just a perfect tool. It's an easy setup, like you said. Throw them in the back of your car and get 5 dozen in a bag. Do you guys make bags?
Yeah, we have it's called a silhouette suitcase, and
that's right.
It actually lays down, and you open it up like a suitcase, and you can it's structured, and you can stack your decoys up that way, and just close the lid like a suitcase, and it's got a shoulder strap to it, and away you go.
Nice, very nice.
So, yeah,
man. And then you got getting into the game birds a little bit with or a little more with some dove action. What do you got going on there?
Yeah, so we came out with a dove spinner this year. Got a cool little attitude carving, so to speak, on the dove spinner. Runs off of 4 AA's, simple on and off switch, heavy duty stake, with a bungee, just like all our lucky ducks. Have a bungee, hook to them. Hook, bungee coming off the bottom of the decoy, hook on the stake, type of thing, and went a little darker on the wings just to get a little more contrast in the flash. But we used them last year. We tested them in Canada, and one day it was me, Ricky, and a couple of our buddies that we'd go up there and hunt with, and we shot 95 doves out of one field one afternoon. It was the most insane dove hunt I'd been on. I mean, it was just like doves everywhere. They're like mosquitoes.
So how many boxes of shells did you go through for 95 days? Is what I want to know.
I'm not telling.
Oh, man.
Honestly, I think I shot 2 boxes of shells.
Yeah.
And I used to shoot all the time, and I used to be a better shot than what I am. But when you have that many doves, sometimes decision making is like, well, I'm going to shoot. Well, no, there's that one. They keep coming. And yeah, there was times I shot that I know as soon as I squeezed the trigger, I was like, yeah, I'm not even close on this one.
Yep.
Because I'm thinking about another one or whatever. But yeah, I think I shot 2 boxes of shells to kill my 15. So, but
that's still not too bad.
A party of guys. No, it wasn't too bad at all. But it just Ricky was giving me crap because Ricky was dead on that day, and sometimes when singles would come in, if I would miss, he'd clean it up, and then of course I didn't hear the end of it.
No, he wouldn't. Not just from Ricky, but from anyone you're hunting with.
Anyone, that's right.
If it happens more than once, you're gonna get an earful, I'm sure.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and that's what I do that to my son too, because sometimes I tell you what, my son misses these cupcake shots. I'm like, dude, how did you miss that? And then he pulls this like unreal long distance shot off. I'm like, where did that come from? Did you shoot with your eyes closed or what? So, but good rubbing, never hurt anybody. So
No, that makes me miss being in the blind even more. And
yep.
speaking of Canada, that stinks because we were supposed to be up there first week of September, which I'd be packing right now, and that is out the door. So, did you have anything canceled, and what are you getting into this fall?
Yeah, so we had a Canada trip planned with some really good friends of ours. We were going to go to Ontario early season for honkers and dove. And my buddy keeps sending Ricky and I go up there, and my buddy that lives up there. He keeps sending us Snapchats of all these doves and all these geese he's got locked up in these fields, and he's like, "Man, I wish the border was open."
Yeah,
So
me too.
sarcastically, because he wants us up there too, and so really gonna miss that. But I just was Tim had called me today, my boss, and he's like, "Hey, what do you guys typically do between Christmas and New Year's?" And I said, "Oh well, sometimes we usually just hunt, but I try to get a trip planned." And he's like, "Well, why don't we do a kids hunt down? He's got a duck camp. Him and Josh Miller from Riverstone Kennels, and they got a camp down in Arkansas." And he's like, "Why don't we take the kids down and have a little, family hunt, so to speak, between the holidays?" And so kind of put that on the schedule, but I'll probably try to get out to Oklahoma. Dustin and I have talked about several times the last few years, just trying to go out there. They got their new shop coming up, so I think that opens. What do you say? Like they're shooting for October or something like that.
Yeah,
So
depending on if they can get the
supplies.
the supplies. Yep.
Yeah, but him and I have been talking for several years about just going out there. Him and I are just good friends, and he's invited me out. It's never worked it out. So, but then probably looking at going to Kansas. Got invited out there to shoot some cranes, which honestly I've never done. So I'd be looking forward to that. We get it to work, and but yeah, just do some local hunting around here, and I'll probably go up to Ricky's. I think we're going to do a grind hunt in September here. I think Barton Ramsey's coming in. I think they're going to do a grind hunt up in Michigan. So probably, depending on how things go, if I can get up there and hunt a day or so with the grind crew. And
that's not too far from you, right?
Ricky lives just over 2 hours from me.
Yeah, it's not bad.
So no, it's not bad at all. It's pretty, and it's very easy drive. So, but yeah, he mentioned that to me the other day. So, but and I'm sure I usually do another grind hunt at the beginning of the year in Arkansas with that's called the Goose Farms. It's some friends that we made a connection with through actually J. Paul Jackson of Excel Boats.
Yep.
And it's kind of the last 2 years we went there, me and Max and Sean and then Bill go down there, and they got some buddies that hunts it's all privately owned, and it's a pretty cool experience. So,
but, you guys are crushing ducks down there in January, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We the last 2 years, they got this one little spot that they've saved. It's a rice field, but they call it the Big House, and that's the blind that we typically hunt out of. And it's like a 30-foot. It's got an electric run to it. It's done up right. And it's weird because you get in your Excels, and it's flooded. It's flooded timber to get to it, but then as soon as you look out the hole, it's rice. So but it's family run, family owned, and they plant it how they want to plant it. And, it's just harvest it. They harvest it. All they do everything themselves. So it's a cool experience. And usually, I forget, it's like 3,000 acres that they own. So, and there's parts of it that's a refuge that they don't hunt. So usually, even if Arkansas is hurting a little bit, they seem to, to hold the birds. So,
Well, hopefully
but
they're not
this
getting any of this hurricane coming through.
hurricane, I just saw an Instagram story from the guys at R&T, and it was flat pouring. I mean, it was, water was rolling off the roof and the gutters off of that place like no other. So it was pouring down there.
Yeah, I'm getting notifications on my phone for tornado warnings
Yeah,
in Arkansas.
yeah. That was the other thing. They had tornado warnings. They said the tornado sirens are going off.
Jeez.
So, yeah, just crazy, scary.
I haven't seen too much. I haven't put the news on since last night, so I'm not sure. I know some places got absolutely wrecked, and saw some stuff on social media today saying, people left last night and they came back today and their stuff was completely gone. Their duck camps were completely gone, like just gone. And it's
I saw.
Oh my gosh.
We got rid of our cable, and so we just Netflix it now. But so I just rely on app on my phone for news or whatever. And yeah, some of the photos I seen, man, it from what I understand, it was gaining force. It was as it was getting closer to going inland, and the swells alone were, before it even hit shore, the swells alone were like 20 foot or something like that.
Right.
So I mean, it was crazy.
That's nuts. Now is that second one coming in now, or what's the story with that?
Supposedly, that's what I thought. The second one was coming in.
Yeah.
Behind it. So
that's typical for 2020. Double hurricane is about right.
Dude, if anything can happen, I mean, this is going to be the year it's going to happen.
I told my wife last night, I said, I think the Mayan calendar was off by 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, it seems like it's the end of the world. Like, everything that could go wrong is going wrong. So
it is going wrong. Yep.
No.
Yeah, it's been a weird year, but pray for those guys down there that everybody stays safe, and the destruction, they are able to recover from it faster. I mean, obviously, we had a tornado go through here a couple years ago, and we don't usually have tornadoes. And I'm a volunteer firefighter here in town, and it just looked like a bomb went off. And it was like it was an F3, and like I said, we don't get them, and it just, the destruction that thing did was just incredible. So I could only imagine, what that did being so much bigger. And just pray
unreal.
that everybody took shelter or got out, or the ones that stayed there, rode it out. So
switching gears a little bit, and I don't know if the dog that was attacking the cat, is that
that's
your
Timber?
that's your pup? Is it?
That's the pup.
And how old is she now?
She is a year and 3 months.
In 3 months. So she didn't get out? Did she get out last year to experience shooting? Kept her in?
Nope, I kept her in. So I just came home 2 weeks ago. She was at Riverstone Kennels with Josh up in Wisconsin. Long story short, Josh and I had made some plans. I was supposed to do some traveling back in the spring before COVID, and he was going to keep her while I was away for the extended travel, and he was going to work with her just so we didn't miss anything. And obviously COVID hit, and we finally, after things started opening up, and we finally made some plans, and she went up there for several weeks. Actually, she went up there for, 2 months? So a little over 2 months. But she's home, and she's this will be her first year. I'm just got to be really careful, just with any new dog. I'm not gonna. She's been around gunfire. We've done all that good stuff. She's hasn't been in a hunting situation, right? Yeah. So a lot different than even when a bird boy's throwing bumpers, the ducks coming in from all different directions and all the shooting and all the commotion, it's just a new experience. So just I'm gonna ease her into it and try to take her on some buddy hunts where my buddy shoots or my son's shooting or whatever, and I'm just controlling her and not shooting myself, and get her just so we don't form bad habits and get her going.
Oh,
So
that's
get her
good.
first
You're
year
smart
under
about
her
it, and
belt.
that'd be good to have your son shooting some teal after your golf match. And,
Yeah,
just
that's
hold
right.
on to her and get her
Yep.
get her that experience. So that has to be exciting on your end. I know many years ago now it seems, but that's always exciting. Get them out and their first retrieves and
Oh
all
yeah.
that fun stuff. So
Yep. Yeah. We've been working. We usually train 2 times a day. I train her in the morning, and I train her like at 8 o'clock at night when the heat's gone away. But she's been doing really good. She's a fast learner. Um, she's tiny. I mean, she's a small dog. She's 50 pounds, but so is her mom, and her mom's a goose getting machine. So um, I wanted a small dog, so that's what we got. And so yeah, I'm super excited. She's the drive. She's got a motor on her, and she loves to retrieve. She loves to please, and she's a great house dog around the family and the kids and everybody. So we're super happy with her for
that's
sure.
awesome. Yeah, I remember, Kimber, she was a May dog. So I got her June, July, and obviously that first year was out, and the second year I remember taking her out, and I took her out for duck, but not goose, because same thing. I mean, I think she might be 62, 63 pounds about. So I mean, she was, and it took her some time to put some muscle on. So that
Yep.
first year of duck season, I didn't take her for goose at all, and then I remember bringing a goose home, and she was pulling it backwards. She and I'm just like, yeah, you're not ready yet. So it was the
Yep.
following year, and early goose season. I remember I winged one, and it went down about, I don't know, 200 yards, and it was a dry field, and man, she looked like a heat-seeking rocket. Just the dust coming up behind her. She crushed this bird, ran it all the way back. I was like, that's what I've been wanting. So
That's what we
yeah,
wanted.
definitely not. She wasn't ready, and maybe she was ready. It might have taken her a while to get a goose back, but I felt like
Yep.
she needed another year. So
Yeah, and that's the thing, that I've learned, and I've learned from Josh, and it's interesting with Josh is he just it takes you take time, and every dog's different. Some guys want a dog, and they get it, and by 10 months old they want it that they want to have it 500 retrieves under its nose. Well, sometimes maybe that dog's not ready.
yep,
So just reading that dog and knowing that dog is as you progress through the training and just watching that dog grow, it's a lot of fun.
yep,
Looking forward to the season. I just debating on the whole dove thing with her just because dove give off such little scent. I mean, it'll be a good test for her, but again, it's hard watching them, small bird fall. So I'll probably take her out just to experience all the booming and all that fun stuff, and try to get a few retrieves after under her belt. But definitely the whole teal thing, I'm going to take her out as much as I can teal hunting.
yeah. No, man,
So
I'm excited for you and that whole experience, because oh man, Kimber's 11 and a half now, and it's I guess 11 and a quarter, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, her hearing's about gone, and
yep,
she kind of is in a zone of, she does what she wants, and I don't want that ruining hunts for other people. So I'm sure we'll get
yep,
a few before work duck hunts in, and where it's just me and her, maybe one other buddy. But yeah, opening
yep,
goose when we have like 8 guys, I'm not going to have her running around and not listening. So she's
yep,
she's she's put her time in, but she's almost retired, and it's sad to think about. So
yep. Yeah, I've got a 10-year-old like that too. I think we talked about last time. I kind of retired her, and that's why I got Timber. And but I still feel like I owe him at least just a buddy hunt, him and I, and go out and shoot couple teal and let him do his thing. But we'll see. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, I told Ben Webster out in Kansas, I was like, man, if I drive her out, I said, could we get on a hunt to where I can just let her experience waylay for one last time? And he's like,
Yep.
yeah, if you want to. So, and we're going out December, and I'm probably not going to take her out. If I do that, maybe next year. But yeah, it's to that point where it's about to shut it down and let her just eat pizza here, I guess. But
it's not an easy decision.
No.
Especially when you wake up early in the morning, get that cup of coffee poured and getting your hunting clothes, and they're sitting at the back door waiting for you, waiting to be let out to go with you. It's tough.
Yeah. Oh, she gets mad too. She gets mad. So it's not it's not worth me not taking her, because she'll just sit and wake my wife up no matter what hour I get up. Like if I get up and she knows that I have stuff packed, she'll sleep in front of the door, so I can't get out. I'll literally have to go out a side door, but usually I'm carrying stuff and it wakes her up and she, hears me going out. So then she just sits there and wakes up my wife. So then my wife's pissed. And it's like she has her own little system down. I'm like, all right, this is ridiculous, but she might be to the point where she can't hear me anymore, but I don't know.
Yeah. You know what was funny when Timber came home, especially she was gone for 8 weeks, 9 weeks, whatever it was. And, that's the first time I've sent a dog away, and I was just curious on would she recognize you? What would she, when she got back, what would she do? Is she going to pee on the floor? Because she's lived the kennel life for the last 8-9 weeks, and we got her home, and the first thing I said, "Are you hungry?" And she took off right where the food bowls were at, and knew right where dinner was.
Oh yeah,
she never skipped a beat. So
that's awesome.
Smart. Yeah, they're smart. Sometimes we don't give them enough credit for what they deserve.
That looks like he has a nice place up there too, just from some of your stories and stuff. His real nice kennel, and
yeah, Josh has a nice place going on. He just put a nice tech pond in, and when I took her up there, I actually went up, spent 4 days, and shot some photography, and did just hung around. And Josh and I are good friends anyhow, so just hanging out. And it's a real nice piece of property, and the kennel's awesome. He's got an unbelievable crew that works for him, and very, very knowledgeable. And even some of the high school kids, let them be bumper boys or whatever it is, but they know what they're doing, and he's got a good operation going on up there.
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
well, man, stuff's about to get full swing, and excited to watch you on all the socials. And if you finalize some kind of date with Dustin, because Josh and I have been talking to him too about heading out there. So if you get a date set up, let me know, and maybe we can arrange meeting up out there.
Absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
That would be fantastic. It'd be a lot of fun. I'd like to. Never been out there, and like to, especially when the call shop opens, especially I guess they're going to have a tap room in there or whatever. So
yeah,
go have a beverage.
As long as it's after September 28th, that's when I can have a beer again. Yes.
You got to get through the 75 hard.
Yeah, man. Hey, it's been good for me, so it's fun.
That's good, man.
Josh makes fun of me and just asks what I did during the day and stuff like that, and I pretty much said I'm to the age, if I don't do something now, I'm not going to be able to do it, and I went to the doctor and stepped on the scale and said, all right, today's the day, after wanting to do it for a long time, but it finally just made the choice. And my sister called me crazy, and she's like, you're not drinking all summer, and we just put a poll in. And actually, Josh can't be on tonight because he put a poll in-ground poll, and he's getting water tomorrow, and all the electric has to be done. And he just texted me. It's 10:17 right now, and he said the electricians are still there working on it, so the water can get put in tomorrow. So that's why he couldn't make it on tonight. But yeah, so my wife or my sister called me crazy, and she likes her wine, and her husband likes his bourbon, and they do all the grilling out quite often, and she's like, you're crazy. I'm like, yeah, but I need to make this change for myself. It's not for anyone else, and I put it on social just to hold myself accountable for it. But
Yep.
But now she's over a weekend on a program too. So, and I was like,
Wow.
wait, you quit drinking? She's like, yeah, I'm on it. And she, she's down whatever 10 pounds. Her husband's down like 13 pounds, and that's the first week. So I said,
Awesome.
good, and it's
Good for them. That's fantastic.
and that's just that's a byproduct of the whole thing. It's more of a time management and mental program of just, understanding what you can do during the day. So,
yeah. The hardest thing for me, and I'd have to do it during the summertime, I think, and that's one reason why I haven't, is the cold showers.
well, that's phase 1, so that's not part of 75 hard. That's after you do
Gotcha.
the first 75. But yeah,
Gotcha.
5-minute cold shower. We'll get to that point, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I was just like, holy cow, because I saw that on somebody's story, part of the, the daily routine, do 2 workouts and no. And one workout must be outside, and then I saw a cold shower, 5-minute cold shower. I'm like, cold shower in the summertime, no problem, but like in the wintertime,
Yeah.
This dude likes warm showers. So,
yeah, and you travel too, so it's difficult. And I'll, in the next week or so, I'm going to Alabama for a few days, and we got late flights down and late flights back, and training all day. So. No, we'll see how it goes, but I'll have to adjust somehow.
Especially at duck camps, the no alcohol thing. I mean, it's just it's all mental, right? But it's always nice to, when you get to duck camps with your buddies you haven't seen for a while, and have a beer or two, and, so
3 or 4,
or
5.
3 or 4, 5. That's right.
But
no, man, you're crushing it. Keep doing it. I know I saw the other day you're over halfway through it, and when we chatted the other day, you mentioned that usually at this point is where you hit the wall, and it's easy to say no, and you've pushed through it, and super proud of you. So
yep, no, I appreciate that, and that is too, man. I'll start something, and my wife will be pushing me, and I'm just like, nah, I'm done, I think. And now it's just like I'm too deep now, so it's I think last night I had one workout in, and I put my son to bed, and I laid down with him and just talking and stuff, and he put his head down, I put my head down. Well, you can set when your day ends, so I set mine at 2 a.m. because I'm usually up late, and I woke up at 12:15 and did another workout and got done a little bit after 1 o'clock, and I was just like, well, there you go. got it done. So, and usually that's just go right back to bed, but I'm seeing results, and it's worth it so far. So
yeah. Well, we'll definitely have to get together for a hunt this coming year, but we'll also need to make a pool party. I'll come up next year to your place, and
that'll work.
Big pool party.
That'll work.
I'll bring the beer as long as I can swim in your pool.
Yeah. We'll have to let's maybe plan on September, and we can do a cast and blast and go up to Lake Erie and hammer some walleye or something.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, that's one thing that we want. We want a swimming pool. We just haven't. Between Dustin's putting green in the backyard, now you got a pool. I got some thinking to do. So,
and I built a deck, which was like the first thing of size that I've ever built. So we had a deck, and I extended the deck to fit around a little over a quarter of the pool, but it was a good sized chunk, and I was pretty happy with the results. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is it salt water or just fresh water? Or
no,
chlorine?
It's fresh water, but it's a softer chlorine. So
gotcha.
my one daughter has some eczema issues, and we went softer. I should have probably just went salt, but she hasn't had any issues all summer. So
nice.
Yeah, so we're good.
Awesome.
Good to go there.
Good deal. Good deal.
But yeah, with not being able to go anywhere all year, I mean, I think we were in it 3 times today. Alone.
Oh wow!
Like it's just the kids are like, "Will you swim? Will you swim? All right, let's go." And that's and then they try and climb on my back, and I've been using usually 1 a day as a workout, so I swim pretty hard for 45 minutes, and it's a round pool, and I feel like running in circles, but it is what it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Good deal.
So, all right, man. Well, hey, let's keep in touch, and.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on again. It's always great to catch up with you.
Yes, sir. Well, have a good year, and good luck with the rest of the golf season.
Absolutely. I appreciate that very much. All right. I thank you, and like I said, thanks for having me on, and let's try to get together this year for a hunt.
Yes, sir.
That's going to do it for this episode of the HP Outdoors Waterfowl Podcast. If you're new to the show, head over to iTunes, check out some of our past episodes, and while you're there, leave us a 5-star rating and review. It's the best way for like-minded hunters just like you to find our show. Check us out on social media, check us out over at hpoutdoors.com, and anywhere you can find quality podcast content. That's going to do it for this week. Till next time, for Dan, I'm Josh. Take care.